Today we are going to talk about sponge filters and why I think they're an amazing tool for all the hobbyists in the aquarium field. Um, Everybody, knows about why canister filters are amazing and hang off the backs, but sponge filters, I think, should be the king. Throughout the 80s and the 90s, I would go into a fish store and every tank I looked at had one of these things in the corner. And I would go and I'd try to find it because it's like, if it's good enough for the fish store that overstocks, it ought to be good enough for me. But it was never on the shelves. All the fish stores back in the day were trying to sell resellable cartridges for hang on the backs, for different media to put into your canister filter, expensive canister filters and hang off the backs. This thing, I don't know, 7 or 8, maybe $10 for these filters, and they work amazing. Let's just go through the parts of the sponge filter. You have a heavy base, and then you have the strainer, which is this part right here. All of it snaps. Oh, well, that one doesn't want to snap off, but it all snaps together, and this is where the water goes into the sponge, like it's pulling it. Then we have the sponge part. I'm going to take this part off. Then the sponge goes over that, and it's all going inside. This part right here is called the bullseye. But I want to show this real quick, because this is a really cool trick that you can do with sponge filters. If the one size isn't big enough for you, you can even double stack them. So, of course, I probably should have practiced it beforehand. But you can stack them so you can make it bigger. I love sponge filters. They're so adaptable. People give them a hard time, and they really shouldn't. Sponge filters, they grow all the bacteria that you need to clean your tank. They do polish the water somewhat. Now that's where I think mechanical filtration might work better. But I mean, Corey, I think he was a big reason. Corey from Aquarium Co-op, this is his brand. I think he's a big reason why now you can find these at all the box stores. Because he started selling them, and they're like, well, we got to keep making money, so they're starting to sell these. I don't buy from box stores. I love our online guys, like, our small guys that care about us, not Amazon. And I don't do the box stores unless it's like the dollar per gallon sale at Petco. I give them some, I don't know if that's giving them love or hurting them, but that's when I go shopping those places. But my local fish store, Aquatic Aesthetics, he carries these guys. I've heard people criticize the Co-op one because it's a coarser material. Well, you can grow a lot more bacteria on that than you can on these bio balls. I think that's crazy. And another advantage is the air can get through this easier than this. So, I mean, there's always advantages and disadvantages to everything, but really, I've had these in my tank now for several of my tanks, and about 30 of my tanks, 20 of them, no, probably about 30 of them for the last 2 years, and I've had about 30 of these in my tanks. I don't see any difference, guys. They're both great. Do you like the green or do you like the black and clear? I mean, really, that's the biggest difference. Now, the one thing I do like about this particular one for my 20 longs is it's the shorter profile. So, because I have dirted tanks, so my substrate's a little higher, so I like how this is lower. I've actually, with my Co-op ones, cut these in half. So my lift tube doesn't lift as much, but I just don't think that's a big deal either. So super nice. They come in a variety of sizes. I've got this one, and this is the main reason why I'm making this video, because I've got to put this little guy in a little bitty tank tonight, and I wanted to use it in a video before I used it. So, I mean, they make them from super small little 5-gallon tanks to 20 tank gallon. And I think this is rated all the way up to a 55, or gosh, it's rated for a 125. I keep these guys in my tubs, my guppy tubs, and they work amazing. Now you can hot rod them, like this one's got the air stone. These things generally don't come with an air stone inside them. Let's see. It goes down the valve stem and then bubbles out, or it goes down, then comes back up. So the air goes down, comes up. That's where you're going to have your problems, is it collects dirt from it, or just everything in there, and it clogs up. And that's the main thing you have to worry about these things, is cleaning them up. And so how I clean them is I take my 5-gallon bucket that I've got some of the water I've pulled out of my tanks. I take this out, I put it in there, and I squeeze it out. And then I leave that in the 5-gallon bucket, and I take this over to the faucet, and I use hot water to blast the bottom of it out to clean it, because otherwise it's going to keep clogging. So, but I keep this under the water the whole time, so I'm not killing any of my beneficial bacteria. I snap it together, and it's good to go again. I love sponge filters, guys. I highly recommend everybody to use them too.